The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to a brand new year, traders and traderettes. This is your one and only squeezably soft host here at TFNN. Once again, into the breach do we go. And as every day that the market's open, we join together here at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Every day. Anyway, got a very interesting market out here as we start the day. We want to look, of course, at what's going on. Just a hair under 2,000 on the S&P cash, 2.5 billion shares. I thought maybe we'd have even a little bit more than this by this time because the news cycle had been so horrible. And of course, as I wrote in my newsletter this morning, this is a very teachable moment in stock trading. And just before I went away, we talked a little bit about why it would be so dangerous and why I was waiting to short into last week. And we'll talk more about that. Other than that, the market's kind of pretty much turned out exactly as we talked about them early in December and even in November, and that was that they tried to go up higher. They were a little even weaker than I thought. I thought maybe we get it to 2,100. We got to, what, 2078 or something on the S&P cash during the day. I thought we'd get to 2,100 and they'd hang out there, and then the bottom would fall out. We didn't even get that far. The market was even a little weaker than that. But at the same time, at least for the indexes, I didn't think the wheels were going to fall off the wagon. Light volume is always tough to sell a market off on. But, of course, once you come back, this market had been setting up very much like 2000. There were some tax reasons in 2000 why the ball really got started, moving rather fast at that time. We've got the reasons now. We'll explore a few of those. And in the meantime, I think we need a little bit of histoire.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1977, Apple Computers, incorporated by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. We were talking a bit about this morning in the den, and somebody wanted to ask me if I'd seen the 60 Minutes piece on it by Gibney, and I had not. And one of the reasons why was that I said I lived it. There's probably not a whole lot that anybody can tell me about this period in computerdom. I started putting my own computers together about this same time. My grandmother actually sewed memory. This was back when memory had little tiny donuts. About the center was maybe smaller than a pencil lead, maybe kind of close to a pencil lead. And the little donuts were not that much bigger. And you'd weave them, and the wires would make these little magnetic donuts, either magnetic or unmagnetic, and that's was a 1 or a 0. And she could sew about 4,000 of these into a little card. You'd plug them into a computer, so you'd literally have 4,000 bits on one of these little cards, and you put them all together. It was called core memory at the time. Anyway, the magazine at the time, I'd go up to the library and read it. I was a poor, starving child in the Midwest. But I would go up and read InfoWorld, which was the magazine of everything going on inside that. And almost nothing. I probably read it until 1996, 1998. I think I quit reading it. I'm not exactly sure why. I think it became, the internet probably displaced it. The data in it was probably too old and stale by then. But every week, InfoWorld would show up, and I had a library. Where was it? At one point, it was across the highway when I was very young, but it then moved much closer. I could ride my bike to it in about 4 minutes. and go through all the magazines. Anyway, they took InfoWorld. I read it. And there was always an article called Kringley X by a gentleman that wrote a fantastic book called Accidental Empires about how all this unfolded back at the time. If you want the definitive proof, not the reconstituted, redone history, because the way people think that they understand it now, I recommend that book highly. It'll give you a good indication about how a lot of these companies become big and how accidental, at least the forming and starting of a lot of these companies were back then and still are now. Except I think a lot more people, they go, I want to do a startup. A lot of these people just said, I wanted to build a computer, and it kind of turned into something that they never really thought at the beginning. Anyway, those articles in Kringley X every week. He had a fax machine, and if you wanted to deal dirt on anybody like Steve Jobs or Wozniak or the Microsoft mob, any of the people, you could just fax him whatever you wanted, and it would appear. He'd check it out, make sure it was real, but it would appear in the comment section of the Kringley X column in InfoWorld. And I was always amazed to see what these captains of industry like Steve Jobs were actually really like in real life. And I'll give you a hint. He was pretty horrible. And that was in the early days. In the late days, he didn't really moderate that much. As some people always said that Steve Jobs was a revolutionary, and the Microsoft people were really evolutionary. Steve Jobs didn't care what really happened to the country or a company as long as he changed everything. He was a revolutionary. He didn't matter about what happened to the money or the investors. All he wanted to do is burn down whatever there was then and replace it with what he believed was the thing to put it in there. Of course, we have the opposite side of Microsoft. They were formed by the Japanese version of innovation, which is just make it 1% better every day. Don't try to make it perfect on the first outing. Just make it 1% better every day. And Microsoft stuff, when it first came out, was almost always junk, but they continued to make it 1% better every day. Steve Jobs was great to have something new and groundbreaking, but it then became very hard to make it 1% better every day. And eventually the Microsoft people overtook them. But on this day in 1977, the big war between Microsoft and Apple was just starting to brew. Anyway. Okay, before I left, I told you I was bearish. I told you I was a turducken of bearishness. I was a polar bear that ate a Kodiak, that ate a Grizz, that ate a brown bear bearish. And that's why I had to let those feelings pass. I normally am either 3 hours, 3 days, or 3 weeks early. My thought was that I was 3 weeks early. And we'll talk about that. But I said that we were going to, the best thing to do was probably go short into the new year. And we did that in the newsletters, and it just paid off handsomely. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
The world outside is hanging on by a very thin, non-GMO, cruelty-free organic hemp thread.
It certainly is, folks. Anyway, we've got a turducken of bad news over the last few days. And, of course, some people are talking about China being the downside. I think maybe it is the symptom of continued what would you call it? I don't know. All I remember is was 1975, 1976, Chevy Chase doing the weekend update on Saturday Night Live. And starting it off was with everything was surprise, or something to the effect of surprise. There's an upheaval in the Mideast. And probably the only difference now, of course, is we're going to be talking nuclear weapons. And that really has a lot of people wondering what's going on. Here in the United States, it sounds like we've got political factions ready to try to get at least people down the road of a second revolutionary and civil, they always call it the Civil War. I think it's the uncivil war. And we've got people that are sworn to uphold the Constitution trying to molest it. There'll be more of that this week. So there's a lot of different things going on out there. And of course, if you haven't been paying attention, I have. One of the supposedly smartest people in the world has been telling us that the end of the world is coming, and we only have 22 days left. So I'm going to have to make a lot of cash in those last 22 days before Armageddon takes over. We'll talk more about that and long-term productions and why these guys are just full of it, and why it could have been a lot worse that we would have had a gas bag like that running the show. Maybe we've got... in America, we've gotten very lucky. But morons are on parade and will be this month. But just remember, 22 days to Armageddon. He promised it to us. We'll be bringing that up again and showing why these guys are so full of it. Other things going on before we get into it. I will have a webinar on the 20th for my subscribers to both the Path of Least Resistance and the, what is it? Path of Least Resistance. And the Tech Insider. I almost forgot about that. That will be the 20th, and we'll be talking about how to use short volume. And we'll probably have that up on the front page of TFNN tomorrow. There is going to be kind of a couple of page introduction that we'll be mailing out. So check that out. If you've ever wondered about short data and short selling, I'm going to really kind of give it a once over, plus a ton of work I've been doing over the last 6 weeks to develop databases and techniques so that I can use reported data and divine the true short position of a stock without waiting 25 days to get the data, which is pretty much what happens now. But check that out in the next couple of days. We'll be talking more about it. But now I can actually go back and look at how many shares were shorted on any day on pretty much any stock in the stock universe, at least around the United States. And one of the reasons why I was able to pull the trigger last Wednesday and start getting my customers short. In the meantime, we've had, of course, a lot of movement out here, and we're pretty much at the first level of support in the markets, which is going to be, I thought, around that 1992 level. We got to 1989 and some change on it. But I think probably the downside is a lot more. The reason I say that is just listening to our opponents on CNBC and Bloomberg today, all telling everybody why it would be stupid for them to sell into this downside, which makes me think that there's probably several days of more of downside and pain, because any time anybody tells you that, you've got a horrible market here, but you shouldn't sell into it. This is not the year. Normally, you just don't get one of these days. I suspect that we could have a three-gap play set up. We could have a variety of things. But maybe we get them or maybe we don't. But I think finally we have the kind of volume here, 2.6 billion shares as we start the show off, that could get us to the downside. There's very little out there besides QE umpteenth to really move the markets. In the meantime, we're going to start looking at some of these stocks. Now, are the FANG stocks people still going to be trying to buy them? I think the answer is yes. And will all these bust at one time? The answer is no. But I think we've got some targets out here that look like they're going to get probably at least tested fairly soon. Of course, everybody's looking to Apple out here. It had a pretty good move down to 102 even on the day. 46 million shares. Now, this goes into the candle of August 25th, where we had 103 million shares when this thing kind of popped back up from that horrible 24th of August, where everybody got spooked, 162 million shares. May not be able to bust that 92, but my guess is we're going to get a lot deeper into that candle on 8/24 on Apple. These markets really kind of started to surprise me, and Apple was the first in maybe the second week. After probably 20 predictions that Apple was ready to crack, it finally actually did. And, we kind of saw the distribution in it. Question is, you could have made 20 predictions before the real last one actually came through. You started a little ABC up, ABC down. That ABC down started on November 4th for your A point. Your B point came in on November 16th. In fact, why don't we just go ahead and do that with the time left? If we look at our expansion on this one, and let's make that our A, and let's make this our little B. You had kind of a little bit more than you probably wanted to for a retracement. Oop, I did it wrong. Hang on a second. A, let's make that one B, Let's make that one C. There we go. We're pretty much close to it. You kind of went over what you would like to see in a normal ABC down. We only almost had a 70% retracement in that move, but that set up a 1 to 1.5 of $100.69. So we could get into that in the next day or so. I don't imagine it'd be too hard. We had a pretty good retracement out here, not a lot of volume. But that would take you to the 1.1.5. And if you get to the 1 to 1.618, that's $99.18. My guess is we're close enough to $100. They're going to want to go down there and at least tap it into that $99.18 and complete that ABC. And I don't know what else you can say about it other than that most of the downside in this is already over. Now we need to look to the rest of the stocks out there that will be following Apple. I think it's going to be kind of tough to crush it much more than this. So we're going to have to look to the other stocks to follow. Which ones will be next? Give me a call, 877-927-6648. Email me at pat@tfnn.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're at the first level of support, so the market's just bouncing a little bit off. We're off 40 points on the S&P cash at 2003 or 2003 for you in Lutz. what are we up? That's up 14 points off the low of the day. But my guess is that we don't have a lot of people saying, Billy, be a hero. They're saying, Billy, don't be a hero. And, I'm going to have to play that now. That's one of those songs you can never get out of your mind. Anyway, not a lot of people, I think, going to be a hero before the end of the day. And again, too many people out here actually saying that you shouldn't sell this, that it'll get better in a couple of days. And always, Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods. Maybe our engineer can find that during the break and pay just 15 seconds of it, just to get that earworm in your head. Yes, and then we'll back it up with Muskrat Love. Anyway, you've got to really look at these guys, and my guess is that they're going to get, or let me put it this way, we had kind of the same thing in 2000, and everybody was saying the same thing. You don't want to sell this. Markets only go up. No, and that's how they really get the hook set. And then pretty soon everybody's a little frog boiled. And then pretty soon everybody's just hoping the market goes back up and gets them a little taste. Everything I look at says that the market this year is going to continually pretty much go down through the election cycle. And it's tough for me to see it. Now, even in down markets, which is kind of weird, 75% of the days are actually up, but they tend to be up very mildly. You're up 5 or 10 points. And then you get a day like this that wipes all those out in 40, 45 points. And you can get a bunch of that. But the market really has some problems. And the big move today, not a big surprise for me. We've had them at the beginning of the years. And again, I've said it many times. You get that light volume going into the end of the year. A lot of shorts cover. And then guess what? There are none of those shorts to actually jump in and buy on the way down. There are no natural buyers. Those guys kind of floated off to the outside. So the easy money is probably over here, at least for today. Now we're probably actually seeing a few people that think, maybe I can buy a few of these stocks and I will buy them at the discount today. A great more stocks actually are getting it to these levels that will be very problematic in the near future. Housing numbers, of course, last week, a little weird. Tempur Sealy International, which basically sells new beds to people who buy new houses, seems to be one of these coming in to these levels that are a little bit tougher. This kind of gap that we've seen that started on, June or July? Yeah, July 1st of last year. I can say last year now. 1.3 million shares. Didn't get into a whole lot of volume, 500,000 so far today. But my guess is that this is the first attempt at some of these levels. We're going to have some of these bounce and some of these that did not. But I'm starting to see, a lot of weakness out here in some of these. And on bounces, I'm now looking at some of these stocks that could bounce and get a chance for the next ABC down. Some of these other ones, kind of interesting to look at, but not a whole lot here. Some of these did try to get back up to their previous highs. Store Capital, kind of interesting to me. Just the very light volume going back into the March 23rd attempt to go through $24. It got to $24.06. This got into that candle and many of those candles. But the energy, as we went back off this November 9th low up to the December 30th high, it wasn't a lot of energy. What really was kind of amazing is that you had most of it all in one day. And then the last few days, you just get this kind of drip, drip, drip of lighter volume. Canar is another one out here. And I had this in my newsletter a couple of days. But this one really, I wanted to get in and do some more work on it. It's not one that I did short. But, man, did this thing make a fairly decent signal that the top was in. May 22nd, 6 million shares from last year, $24.23. Got into it with 820,000 shares on Wednesday. I almost pulled the trigger on this. I was hoping it would bounce today, get another opportunity. No such luck, but I really like this one. This is really, when you look at my power law vector indicator, this is really where you start seeing how these things start to work out. That is off the bottom of September 28th up to the October 27th leg. Had a 6.1 on my power law vector indicator. You were basically off 30% on the completion of that ABC, which was the November 19th low up to that December 30th high. But this is really, if you just look at how many days out here with no volume, this thing from the 9th of December did nothing. I mean, talk about whisper and no volume. This is exactly what you're looking for in a nice short up. You got the test of the high. It went above it. It closed back below it. I'm just going to kick myself for a little while, for the next 5 minutes on that one. We've got some other stocks. I wanted to see how some of these reacted now that they are at support levels. Qorvo, which is the old RF micro devices, making cell phone things. They got together with somebody else, and now, of course, it's a mishmash. But Qorvo had a nice day on the 6th of November, gapped up with 5.2 million shares. Wanted to see how this came back. So far, this is one of the few stocks out here not really seeing a lot of volume. And, you know, even in a down market, there are some stocks that refuse to go lower. If something changed miraculously, which I don't think it's going to, you want to always just kind of jot these down in case we get some kind of massive short squeeze to the upside, which does happen in highly down markets, because these are some of the safer trades to consider if you want to just get a couple of 2 or 3 day run off the bottom and then wait to reshort the weaker stocks as they come back up. But not a bad looking stock out there. Let's find out what else we've got at. I didn't go through all these. We had some other stocks that had made some pretty good signs out here of trying to make a high. Prologix, LD, this thing's banging against this $44 level for a while. October 28th, it got into it at 43.69 with 3 million shares. Tried to get into it, but couldn't break through on December 1st with 5.7 million shares. Finally, it just gets up there and runs out of gas. $43.60 on the 29th of December, 2.1 million shares. And, you know, this is what I really like about the power law vector indicator, is looking at these legs. The first one, 2.4, this last one, 2.1. Probably wouldn't have pulled the trigger on this one short, but I certainly wouldn't have been long. You just don't like to see that kind of non-energy going in to the end of the year. You like to see them pull back on light energy, not go up. We'll be back in a minute, hopefully, with Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
It's true. Life is all about choices. At Everbank, they're making it easy for you to make a smart one with this special cash offer. Open a new yield pledge money market account with funds from another financial institution, or deposit new funds into an existing yield pledge money market account, and you could earn up to a $500 cash reward. And if you're opening a new account, you'll also get their new higher 6-month bonus interest rate, along with their yield pledge promise that ensures your yield will always be in the top 5% of competitive accounts at banks nationwide. Open a new account or add to one. It's your choice. To qualify, you must meet balance and other limited time offer requirements. Go to everbank.com/TFNN for details and deposit options, or speak with one of their banking specialists at 1-855-750-4051 for more information. You must act by December 31st, 2015 to be eligible. Everbank is a member FDIC.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Don't be a fool. Don't throw your cash at us. Anyway, I'll have to make a song about that. Billy, don't be a fool with your cash. Don't be chasing this downside in the market out here because, of course, there is a great deal of danger.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
Yes, we have danger. Anyway, what else do we have? I wanted to look at a few other stocks. I just couldn't remember them off the top of my head. We'll go through a couple of them here real quick. Avalon Bay, starting to see, as we talked about, maybe some of these real estate stocks really giving us the signal that they're kind of done. Got a nice W formation in Avalon Bay communities and some of these others, just several of them. Avalon Bay got to its October 23rd high, 186.89. 820,000 shares on that October 23rd high. Tried to get into it with a lot of volume on December 2nd. Couldn't break out. Came back up one more time, but this time a nice little candle up there to hang your hat on. December 30th, 550,000 shares. So, we talked about also looking at the energy off here. This isn't one I didn't short because, of course, the energy on this is about the same as it is on the upside. My guess is that this is the leg that we're going to start seeing the energy actually come in. It's about the same up and same down, but I think probably traders in this are probably thinking a little bit less. My guess is, we didn't get a lot of volume today, but we could mess around, go sideways here for a few days on some of these, and then we're going to start seeing the sellers really come in on them. But just looking at it, some of these stocks that look like they bottomed out, wanted to see how they were doing today. Nordstrom's, got to hear that piano playing. Do we have a Nordstrom's down here around Florida and Tampa? Don't know. Haven't checked. I don't spend much time in malls anymore. Anyway, the November 13th low, $50.43. Yeah, 23 million shares. It kind of got into that 3-4 million shares through the 18th through the 22nd. It had a little small bounce. We're back into that today with 3 million shares. So it sounds quite familiar. Tom O'Brien says we do have one somewhere around here. I just don't spend that much time in malls anymore. Anyway, Nordstrom, maybe these things are just so beaten down now that there isn't much left in them. There's a lot of stocks, of course, that were still up at their highs in the last few weeks. And those are the ones I tend to look at a great deal more as short candidates than these ones that have already been the tar beaten out of them already. But interesting nonetheless. But light volume in some of those. Let's see what else we have out here. Some of these other ones out here, we already have some real estate companies already bouncing to the lows. Kilroy, I guess Kilroy was here. Realty Corporation, I don't know much about these guys. Did get down to $62.18 on November 9th with 910,000 shares. Into it with 320,000 shares on this. Let's find out some more about this one. Yeah, I'm probably not going to get excited about going long. It's a privately owned real estate investment trust. The firm engages in development and management of properties vested in the real estate market of Southern California. So this is more of a specialized thing. Maybe things are different out there in California. But I'll keep an eye on that one. What else do we have out here? Lamar Advertising. I was watching this one the last few days of the year as this came back in to test its previous high. Came within a couple of pennies. August 5th, this thing basically hit its high before earnings, really looking rather sad. $60.89, 750,000 shares. This thing's been consolidating back up, trying to test its high. Came within, 10, 20 cents out here on the last day of the year. But just 490,000 shares, not a lot of volume to try to push highs down. Volume is increasing on this one today. And what I like most about this one short is, again, the power law numbers. We had kind of some equal ABCs where this thing pretty much finished an ABC to the upside. But the energy from that original September 29th low to the end of the first leg up on November 6th just doesn't have a great deal of juice in it. But the second one had no juice in it. The November 19th low at 55.53, where that spiked down, it kind of went back around in it and kind of got back up. Really never had a sign of strength as it bust the November 6th high of $58.93. And really just a couple bucks over that, right back into the trading range. This thing did go. I'm just wondering how many of these outdoor advertising firms, which I think Lamar is. Let's just make sure about that. Let me take a quick look at it. Equity Real Estate Investment Trust firmly engages in selling advertising space on billboards, buses, and shelters. Yeah. Benches and logo plate. I guess my lawyer, he must spend all his money on the benches. Everywhere I see, he's not my lawyer, actually. I'm just making fun of him. But they're real big on advertising on benches around here. Lamar Advertising raking it in from personal injury lawyers and the like. But not a lot of love back up here against that August 5th high we have out there. Let's see what else we have going on out here. Wanted to see McGraw-Hill. This one was one that I was contemplating. Had a nice move off the high. Really had the big move starting down on the 20th of August, like a lot of other stocks did. Had a high volume low back at $90.50 on August 24th to spike that low. Did go down through it. Volume really didn't increase to September 29th. What I was really looking is, has the thing came back and filled that, started that gap down on 820 on August 20th. Again, of course, you had volume back in those days, 1.1 million shares, 1.7 million shares, and then 2.6 million shares. Basically, as we got into that on the 29th, 1.2 million shares, and of course, 1.1 million shares on the 30th. Of course, on the 31st, 700,000 shares. Kind of got back into it. But this is how the cookie crumbles on the right-hand side of the charts when you look at these come back up. Martin Marietta Materials, looking at some of these material stocks, certainly look like they're going to come back and fill this gap. That should be pretty decent support. So you're probably looking at 122 to 124 on this one, that would complete the first big move off of this that started on February 10th of 2015. This thing gapped up with almost 4 million shares, a huge sign of strength, came back up to its highs, still has a higher volume high on September 17th. So if we're into the materials space and thinking about this, might be one that, 122, 124, we'll have to take a look at. Volume remains very light into that sign of strength that goes back almost a year. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And this is just a pre-announcement. I'll be having a webinar the 20th of January, and we'll have the news out on the front page of TFNN either later today or tomorrow. Look forward to it, and it's all about short stocks, short volume, and a lot of stuff I've been working on.
Oh, that's wonderful news.
Oh, yes, it is. Anyway, what else do we have out here? Momentum Pharmaceuticals, MNTA. November 4th low out here, $14.88, 1.6 million shares Thursday. Just a little under 500,000 shares. Not a lot of volume in this one today. So You've got I think we're really starting to see the wheat getting separated from the chaff out here. A lot of these stocks have already come down rather significantly, 20, 25, 30, some 50%. And in fact, one of the big stocks that's doing the best out here is one that's off 90% today. Look at 3D Systems. In fact, a lot of articles just absolutely slamming this over the weekend. And for stocks that actually are bucking the trend, not a bad looking chart out here. And I think they just got everybody short the last few days and then ran it yet again. And I guess this is the time that we really start saying, do you really want to be shorting stocks that were 90 bucks, 97, and be shorting them at 10 bucks? Is it really that wise? Then maybe you don't have to short the stocks that are 100 bucks and been 100 bucks for a while, but maybe short them at 85 after an ABC down. But really, do you want to be chasing these things at 10 bucks? I know a lot of people like action stocks, but I don't know. It just seems rather kind of silly to me for the risk reward. Some of these other stocks out here that have started to bounce a little bit, not showing a lot of weakness. NRG Energy, and not a lot of movement in crude here today for what you would want to think. But at the same time, some of these energy stocks look rather washed out. Would we actually have to have a shooting war to get some of these things moving again? I think the answer is probably yes. We'd have to have disruption. Maybe the Iranians start using some of their patrol boats, put a couple of torpedoes and some tankers out there. But that's it. Some of these other ones, just looking at, because, of course, most everything's down. But there's a handful of stocks that are at fairly significant highs that maybe you could be picking up here that would make much better shorts. This one doesn't have a lot of volume as far as stocks goes, but was one of the ones that was still hanging up at the highs here in the last few weeks. Nexstar Broadcasting, NXST, the July 21st high was $60.31. 380,000 shares got into it with just 140,000 shares December 7th, a day that will live in infamy. Came back up into it with 200,000 shares in the 24th, and then rolled back over. And, of course, down today, not a lot of volume either. But I'm just saying that maybe you should keep your eyes open for a lot of other stocks out here. And what else do we have? Some of these, you're going to need a lot more juice out here. Bucking the trend out here is another stock that looks awful washed out. That's Oceaneering International, OII. This thing's been bouncing around that $37 level. It doesn't make a lot of sense, I think, to be making a lot of big bets, betting that this one goes down a lot lower. Probably wanted to be looking at this thing in the $46 level. That does not mean that we're going to see anything different than August and September, though, and that is that if the market heads down, these will continue and go with the rest of them. Just not a lot of meat left on the bone. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. Also cover when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.